It's a city that needs little introduction, the entertainment capital of the world. 37 million tourists come to Las Vegas every year to sample the glitz, glamour and gambling. High rollers mix with holiday makers in the City of Lights, where the desert heat is rising. And the stakes are high for the riders who've travelled from across the globe to take part in the Rolex FEI World Cup Finals. The Thomas & Mack Centre, Las Vegas, Nevada is the venue for this jumping showdown. My name's Emma James. Welcome to the highlights. So who's here? Well, Marcus Aining, the defending title holder and winner in Vegas 2003. Meredith Michaels Beerbaum, #1 in the world rankings and winner here in 2005. Silver medalist in Aachen, the USA's Beezy Madden is on home ground. Christian Ahlmann, winner of the Western European League qualifying series. Beat Mandley, a finals specialist, third twice and twice a runner-up. Marcus Beerbaum is on form. Could the husband and wife team dominate? Steve Gerdau's only 24 years old. He won 2 qualifiers en route to Vegas. And Rodrigo Pessoa, 3 times winner of this title, he's here on a wildcard entry. Well, undoubtedly one of the favourites is the defending champion, Marcus Aining.
Yeah, it was the last time I was here. I was winning in 2003 and 2005 I was third with the same horse, and this weekend with Gitania, and yeah, hopefully it goes well again this year. I think the big favorite is Meredith Michaels Beerbaum with Shutterfly. She won here 2 years ago with him, and but this year also the Americans are very strong with Beezy Madden and McLean, and yeah, they're a strong team here.
Well, we started the competition with 42 riders from 15 nations in the first challenge, Final 1, the speed class. The course here designed by Guilherme Jorge of Brazil, 13 fences, that's 16 jumping efforts. And joining me to watch the action is Steve Hadley. First in, we have Marcus Beerbaum and Lena.
Well, thanks, Emma. Yeah, what a great way to start with Marcus Beerbaum. He's been in tremendous form. And this speed leg, no faults for poles knocked down, seconds added, and any refusal only adds to the time. You really need a horse that's going to get into the top 10 on this opening leg. Normally the winner would come from riders that are in and around about the top 10 on the opening day. Very twisting and turning, as you can see. Good surface. Gel track surface, very light poles, and a lot of jumping efforts.
Well, Marcus is our 14th rider to go. The current leader at the moment is Alois Pollmann-Schweckhorst of Germany, and his time is 66.75 seconds.
And this is looking very, very close to it. This mare really does turn on a sixpence. One fence, gallops to it and gets it. Yep, into the lead. As we thought, she is always dangerous against the clock. She's won over the very big fences, won a World Cup qualifier, and that's why. She's quick. She's accurate and she's very careful. And the man knew what he got to shoot at. Alois Pollmann-Schweckhorst was always there to be shot at, having gone fairly early. But it's not over yet.
Well, 27th in is Marcus Aining and Gitania. Marcus, 33 years old today. Will it be a birthday to remember for the German? It's his 5th World Cup Finals, and this is a 15-year-old Holsteiner mare.
Just 4 seconds added for any fence down, but you'd have a bit of a job to be competitive carrying a 4-second burden, but very often if you have an early fence down you can really blitz along and try and pick up a good placing down the line, but normally the winner, the first 3 or 4 home, would be jumping clear and very fast. Turning inside there. This is going to be very close. Oh!
Not quite close enough. He looked like he'd done it. He galloped to the last, but that just a shade behind Marcus Beerbaum and Lena. So that time of 65.58 for Marcus Eining.
What a record this mare's got. And look at the stride he goes forward down here. She leaves her leg down in front. She gets a bit desperate. Really good behind, and didn't she try to jump that?
Well, McLean Ward and Sapphire now, and the home crowd will be looking to see this one do well today. It's his 12th World Cup Finals. He's got all the experience in the world, a gold medal from the Olympic Games in Athens, but he would dearly love to win this title here.
Well, this is a cracking mare, this Belgian bred Sapphire. She's been in tremendous form the last year. Deceptively fast. It doesn't seem to be travelling, but he turns very quick, and she's got a big stride. And of course the beauty of it is, for McLean, he knows what he's got to beat. 65.29. Marcus Beerbaum with Lena still out there in front. Even 1 or 2 got close to him, but he's still there at the moment. Gets inside there. That's a big risk and a big time saver, and he's certainly within shooting distance now. 65.29. Can he get inside this other fence at the end here? Turns in the air, gets inside. Now he's got to gallop to the last. Very tight there. 65.29. He's got him. Oh, all the way. Easy. Made it look so easy. Didn't gallop, didn't flap, didn't panic, went the shortest way, turned inside 3 or 4 fences there. That was outstanding. And didn't take a lot out of his horse for the following 2 days. Brilliant.
So a time of 63.78 for McLean Ward. Beat Mandley now on Idiot du Taux, the 37th rider of 41. We've lost one through withdrawal, so we've got 41 riders in this speed class, and Beat Mandley is 37th to go.
Beat looks up at the clock as he comes in. They've got 45 seconds from when they come in to start in their round. He was just, I think, making sure the clock was zeroed. This is an exceptionally good horse. Always had the look of a champion about him. And Beat got a tremendous record, as we said earlier on in our build-up, in 2nd and 3rd in these World Cups. So many times. Really sets his stall out throughout the year to have a real crack at winning the World Cup. Who knows? With a horse like this, it might even be his year. And this is very quick indeed. He gets inside there. This is a lot quicker than McLean Ward, quicker across the ground. Can he get the last 2 vital turns? 63.78. Oh, 4 to add. He's still quick. Look at the turn there. Now gallop to the last. Well, the time, 63.84, wasn't quite fast enough anyway, but with 4 to add, 67.71.84.
Well, that puts him into 8th place at the moment, so he should still, with any luck, be in that top 10 magic marker at the end of the first day of this competition. So 1 down, but still in a great position there, Switzerland's Beat Mandley.
You couldn't even say he was unlucky there, Emma, could he? I mean, for once this super horse was a foot down. Now, talking about super horses, what about this one?
Meredith Michaels Beerbaum and Shutterfly, quite possibly the very best horse in the world, and she, of course, is the world #1 in the rankings at the moment.
Yeah, down to riding this super horse. He's a horse with bundles of ability. He's very, very careful. He can go against the clock. He's as fast as any. This should be quick. And he's got as much jump as anything here this weekend. He really does deserve the description superstar. He's won it before, and he'd be well capable of doing it again this year. On current form, he's as good as ever.
Not looking to be burning up the course quite as fast as you might expect from Meredith.
It's these all-important turns, you see. She hasn't got inside that fence to get to this green oxer, which the leaders have. Just depends how she can gallop to the last. She'll be mindful of the fact that she's on a horse that can jump clears over the very big tracks over the next 2 days. So she won't want to blow his brains on the first day. She's got to beat 63.78, and she's not going to do that. Took an extra stride there, but still takes one out to the last, gallops to the last, 69.64.
And I think the clock actually continued running after she'd finished there.
I think it did actually.
We'll wait to see what the corrected time is for Meredith Michaels-Beerbaum, but it was slower, but it wasn't that much slower. In fact, the corrected time that I've got here, not the one on your screen, is 67.53. So that actually puts Meredith into 8th place. So a very steady round from her. She's clearly playing a tactical game on day one here. Well, some of the world's very best ruled themselves out of contention in this opening round. 3-times winner Rodrigo Pessoa had 2 down. Great Britain's Michael Whittaker had 2 refusals, so was eliminated. And the surprises kept on coming. The USA's Beezie Madden fell, which also meant elimination for her. So at the end of day one, these are the results as the arena's plunged into darkness. McLean Ward and Sapphire are out in front on 63.78. That time proving unbeatable. Meredith Michaels-Beerbaum down in 8th, but unlikely to stay there. Bit Manley with that one fence down in 9th place. So on to day 2 and final 2 here in Las Vegas. 36 riders on the second day here in Las Vegas, and first in for us is Edwina Alexander on Isovlas Pialotta. She's 7th in, and there are no clear rounds so far. Edwina on her World Cup Finals debut here.
Yeah, but she's no stranger to sport at the very highest level. One of the final 4 in Aachen last September.
In fact, we've got 3 of the final 4. The only one missing is Jos Lansing, who didn't quite manage to qualify for the finals here in Vegas. But Beezie Madden already out, so just Edwina and Meredith Michaels-Beerbaum still in this competition of those final 4.
2 ladies on 2 super horses. This is a grand little mare. She's not very big. She wouldn't be much more than 16 hands high, if that. Westphalian, German bred. She's 16 now, but you'd think she was an 8-year-old, wouldn't you, the way she looks and the way she jumps. Fairly straightforward treble combination. Wide enough oxers, as you can see. That's a big fence there. Oof, she was a good mare to jump that. My goodness, she was a yard off there, and the mare picked up and jumped it like a real one. Very skinny planks. You want to try and miss that high bit in the middle. One fence, and it's a big one. Good girl. 14 fences clear all the way. That's the first clear. Inside the time, 79 seconds is the time allowed. Doesn't seem too tight. She was taking a lot of pulls and still had plenty of time, so that's not going to be a factor. But obviously, the fences will be. It's a big track, take a lot of jumping, but a lot of very good horses to come.
Well, next in we have Julianne Melchior. She is our 11th rider in this competition, and she's currently in 26th place after yesterday's speed class here with Grand Dame Z. She's 20 years old, and another one making her debut, and she is the youngest rider in the competition this year.
Yeah, quite right, and also another one making her debut on a German-bred mare. This one's an Oldenburger Grand Dame. Used to be ridden by Jan Tops at the very highest level, and she's 16 now. The years go by so quickly, but been a very good mare for a very long time, and what a schoolmaster for a youngster like Julien Melchior. Father, who owns and runs the Zangerside stud in Belgium. Had so many top-class horses, so many top-class riders riding for him, Leon Melchior. But give credit where it's due, although this young lady has obviously had access to so many good horses, and this one in particular, you've still got to be able to ride them, and she can. For 20 years of age and with a lot of pressure on her. She's very stylish, very accurate, and very focused. Not much room in this arena. Very tight. Unusual shape. Just the one fence. Oh, it's unlucky. Well inside the time, just, well, a bit unlucky, just a little bit of a rub in front. This girl does adore her horses, you know, she's just had a fence down. She must be disappointed about not getting through to the jump off. But big hug and a kiss. Thinks the world of that mare, and you would, wouldn't you? Because that is a real lovely mare and a superstar in ability terms.
In fact, we've only had a couple of people jump that final fence clear. Obviously, Edwina Alexander, one of them, but that really proving to be something of a bogey fence in this competition. Well, Tony Andre Hansen now for Norway on Camero, another making his debut. He's 28 years old, and this is a 10-year-old Holsteiner gelding.
And also been a part of 14 Nations Cup efforts for his home country of Norway.
Lovely horse, this grey horse. Another German, a Holsteiner. Only 10-year-old. As his colour suggests, you know, these grey horses very often start off very dark in colour and get gradually whiter as they get older. Normally start to lose the darker hairs in the coat when they're 8 or 9, and normally quite white when they're about 13 or 14. So, as you can see, he's about halfway through. He's a great big powerful horse, but although he's got plenty of jump, he's very careful. And this lad is improving and improving every time we see him. They tell me he's quite a talented pop singer, Emma. Have you ever seen him performing?
Indeed he is. No, I haven't quite seen that, but hopefully I will do one day. Just getting a little ragged through there and took the second element of the double out.
Straight over the high part of the planks. Well, he couldn't say he was unlucky there.
And that's a shame.
It jumps the bogey last fence.
I almost wonder whether that was a little bit of nerves creeping in the further he got going clear, whether he got more and more tense. And
just a bit anxious probably, but I think the horse didn't help him an awful lot at the last couple of fences. There's a lot of efforts in here, in this course. They've got to leave the ground an awful lot of times. You know, there's 17 efforts, and they're entitled to be getting a little bit tired towards the finish, especially a big plainish horse like Camero. But from a plainish horse to a quality little mare, this tremendous Swedish warm blood mare, Butterfly Flip, and Malin Bayard Johnson.
well, she got here by the skin of her teeth. She was 1 point below the qualifying point, but with some withdrawals she managed to book her place here in Vegas as one of the substitute riders. And she looks to be making the most of her opportunity.
Yeah, Butterfly Flip, another one that's getting on in years now. I know I'm a fine one to talk, but she's 16, which is very old in horse terms. But if they stay sound and retain their enthusiasm, they've got all the experience in the world, and they've been there and done it before.
Well, this is a mare who at times has looked like she's lost a little of her enthusiasm for the job, but she's well back on form today. Really concentrating on the job.
You're right there, Emma. She hasn't just been herself the last 12 months, has she? You know, we've seen her in a few World Cup qualifiers when she hasn't exactly shone, but this is looking good. Oh! Somebody was bound to hit that plank in the middle sooner or later.
But clears the last.
Jumps the last.
So just 4 faults for Marlin Barrier-Johnson and Butterfly Flip.
Taking a bit of jumping, isn't it? Just 1 clear so far.
It is a big course and plenty of twists and turns in there.
Exactly, there's a lot of places you can have a fence in there, isn't there? A lot of poles out there saying, come and get me.
Margie Engel now and Hidden Creek's Cuervo Gold, and the crowd will go wild for this one if she does well. A very popular American rider with more than 100 Grand Prix wins to her name.
Yeah, Margie's been around a long time now and got a great record on the national circuit in the States. We don't often see her on teams, but when we do, she always makes her presence felt. This is a good horse, Cuervo Gold, Belgian, warm blood, and 13-year-old, actually by Juste Pomme, that very good stallion that Ulrich Kirchhoff won an Olympic gold medal on a couple of Olympics back, and then tragically died within the following year, which was a huge blow to him. Never really been heard of since, just when he'd got a horse capable of winning at the very top level, to lose it is a tremendous blow. Chestnut horse, he was Juste Pomme, like this fella. Oof, that was a bit unlucky, a bit lucky rather, she was very, very deep to that. Very related distance, that stride round the corner from that orange oxer to that skinny little gate. Now takes a pull, sets him up, just the planks and the last. Oxer, now the last vertical, 1 to go, the crowd really getting with it, and she's clear. We've got a jump off. Again, well inside the time. That's a popular clear round, as you said, Emma.
Absolutely. This crowd here, extremely enthusiastic, almost a little bit too enthusiastic at times. You do wonder how the horses can keep their concentration in this arena, but Hidden Creek's Cuervo Gold did just that, and Margie Engel finishes with a clear round. Well, that's 2 clear rounds through to our jump-off. We're over halfway through. Herco Schroeder in next. He's the 21st of 36 riders to go in this round on Eurocommerce Milano. Now, this pair started the season brilliantly with a second in Helsinki and a win in Verona, but the tail end of their season wasn't so good. No points at all from their last 6 outings on the World Cup circuit, so it'll be interesting to see what he can pull out of the bag here in Las Vegas. And that's another one of our bogey fences, that fence for off the tight corner that if they don't get sight of, they're taking that top rail with them.
Quite right, Emma. He was also a bit close, wasn't he? He really, asked the question there unnecessarily. Didn't give the horse really space enough. Unusual for Gercho because he's so accurate. He'd be one of my favourite riders at the moment. I think he's a tremendous little horseman. He's not very big. And then neither is Marcus Eining, come to that. And he's very, very capable. And he's got some good horses.
He was wonderful to watch in Aachen last summer with Eurocommerce Berlin. Absolutely stunning.
The grey horse, yeah. That really does take some jumping, doesn't it?
It does, and it's straight towards the finish. You've got the curtain behind, so the horses know they're heading for the exit. It's a big, full up to height, 1.60 metre vertical, and just the littlest tap can take that off. And he's taken both the bogey fences down on this course, 4 and 14 the last. So Herco Schroeder finishes with 8 faults. Daniel Durser now and Air Jordan Z, 25 years old, another making his World Cup Finals debut. And this stallion is by Argentinus, the same sire as Arco, the great horse ridden by Nick Skelton, who we haven't seen for a while, but hopefully will be back on the circuit this year.
"11 years old, and the horse. There's no doubt about it. I mean, those two verticals are taking an awful lot of jumping, but they're both bolt upright, no ground lines, and both 160, which is the maximum height you can build at international level in a first round. 160, 5'3", and a 5'3" vertical or oxo in this small arena with these light poles and not longer poles either. You see that treble combination? The poles there wouldn't be your normal length that you'd see at places like Olympia or Hickstead or a lot of other World Cup qualifiers. They've compensated for the narrowness of the arena by having probably about 10-foot poles instead of 12-foot in lots of cases. Makes the fences more difficult to jump, makes them look higher. Water tray under that second last, and he jumps that smashing. Just that one unfortunate mistake.
So that's 22 riders gone, and still only the 2 clear rounds on this, the second day of the Rolex FEI World Cup Finals. Daniel Durser finishes with 4 faults. So getting to the tail end of the opening round of this final 2, of course heading for the jump-off next. But before that, we've got another 13 riders to go. Skylar Riley for the USA and Ilian is next in. And this is the oldest horse in the competition at 17 years of age.
Dutch bred by Zuidholm.
Has a look of a horse that's been there and seen it all and done it all.
Yep.
Which is probably just as well in an arena like this one.
Got the T-shirt.
It's a very spooky arena because the crowds really bank up very steeply so that the horses, if they do look up, are looking up at a wall of people.
It's an old horse's ring, isn't it, really, and an old horse's course, because there's a lot of places here that they've got to make maximum effort and be very accurate and use all the experience they've got to jump these fences, because every time you turn a corner there's a sucking great fence in front of you, like that one. Look at the lift you need on that, a big vertical. Round the corner again, very tight to this treble combination, which is short and short again. Got to keep them really upright round the corners, like she did there. You see, you've only got 4 strides from that corner to jump an enormous oxer. 5 strides related round the corner to a very skinny gate, hung off the ground. This girl is giving this horse a beautiful ride. Keeping him perfectly balanced, keeping him upright. Look how she used that corner. Sits and waits for him to come up. Just 2 fences. Now this dodgy vertical to finish. And jumps it. Just not far inside the time, 79 seconds, comfortable enough. That was a cracking round.
Well, that gives us 3 clear rounds through to the jump-off so far. Of course, many of the best riders still to come here in Las Vegas. And that will be one to remember for Skylar Riley. She looks very pleased indeed.
Chuffed would be the word, I think.
I think so.
And why not? That was a peach of a round, wasn't it?
Well, now Switzerland's Beat Manley and Idio Duto, they have to be one of the favourites here. He's been second twice, as we've already said, in the finals, and third twice. Surely he can't remain bridesmaid to somebody else's bride forevermore. Beat Manley and Idio Duto.
You know, and he's built a tremendous team of horses over the last 3 or 4 years, has Beat. He's always had one good enough to come to the World Cup World Cup final, rather. And he's, as you say, he's been so close to winning it so many times. But this would arguably be his best chance ever, because this is the best horse. He'll say that himself, the best he's ever had. A real acrobat of a horse.
11 years old, so plenty of jumping left in him as well, so a great future ahead for this horse.
French-bred horse. You know, and the thing with Beat as well, he wouldn't abuse horses. He'd bring them along steadily. And although he's 11, he'd be more like a 9 or 10-year-old. But he's more likely to last till he's 16 or 17. The way he would ride them and place them and save them from hardship. And the way this horse really leaves the ground, he's so sharp. Watch him at these planks. Oof. Shoulders really come up. 2 fences. 3 clears so far. Come on, Beat. Up. Good man.
And
That's
that makes
4.
it 4.
Yep.
It was absolutely textbook. Looked like a little schooling round over tiny fences at home. Made it look very, very easy.
He made
indeed.
it look 140, didn't he? And it's near enough 160 all the way around. Maximum height.
5 that are out on the good list. On her last visit to Las Vegas, she was the winner of our...
Well, the one many are waiting for here, Meredith Michaels Beerbaum and Shutterfly. Very popular here, of course, because although she rides for Germany now, she was born just down the road in California, so many friends and family here to support her.
Shutterfly, a 14-year-old Hanoverian gelding, owned by the Octavia Farms and Meredith Michaels Beerbaum.
What a joy this horse is to watch. He's one of those horses you can just sit here. I don't think a round of his doesn't need commentary. You want to just shut up and just enjoy watching it, because he's such an artist. He's some acrobat, isn't he?
There can't be many horses in the world that could have left that one up.
She buried him there. No 2 ways about that. Oh, it's called class. It's going to take a very good horse to beat this one this week, I tell you. Just this last. Good. That's another one. Oh, heart was in her mouth there. She knows she made a grave mistake towards the finish there at that Oxer. How he jumped it, as you say, Emma, is hard to fathom. But he made it. He knew exactly what he'd got to do. Got his legs out of the way, and he had the ability to do it.
Well, another 3 clears here. Marco Kutscher, Steve Gerda and Leopold van Asten in round 1. But fence 14, that final fence, proved very influential in this, with a third of the riders knocking it down, alongside Julian Melchior, Alois Pullman Schweckhorst, Kate Levy and Rennie Tebel all failed at the final hurdle. And the top-placed 3 riders each picked up 4 faults, throwing the competition wide open. Marcus Aining, Marcus Beerbaum and McLean Ward, each with a single mistake. So here is the jump-off board. Edwina Alexander, the pathfinder in this jump-off. Meredith Michaels Beerbaum down in 6th will be very fast and hard to beat, and Steve Gerda the last to go. Well, first for us to see is Marco Kutscher with cash. The current leader is Edwina Alexander. She had 1 fence down, so 4 faults for her, and a time of 32.15. Margie Engel and Skylar Riley both had 2 down. So just 5 to go. The competition is hotting up.
A bit of everything in this jump-off. jump fence 1 and then right back to fence 7, which is completely coming back on yourself the other way. Who can turn the tightest to that? Then a sharp right hand down to this first and second parts of the treble combination. Back to fence 6. And then fence 2, and then an end-to-end gallop right the way to the far end, to the planks, backwards. And he's clear. It wasn't that quick. I think he's beatable, that he's left all the fences up. Sensible round at this stage of the jump off. It wouldn't look like a winning round to me, but you know, he's clear.
So Marco Kutscher, our reigning European champion, goes clear in a time of 32.01, and that puts him out into the lead, the first clear of this jump off. But of course, some great riders still to go. And one of them is Beat Mandley for Switzerland on Idiot Duteau. It's his 6th time at these World Cup Finals. 2 seconds, 2/3.
And Beat will know how fast he's got to go. He will have seen Marcus. There's a monitor, television monitor out in the collecting ring. He'll also have his advisors as to where he's got to turn at this fence. That was outstanding. This horse is so quick in front with his front legs. He can afford to do that at a vertical, and he can also afford to let him travel as well to get across an oxer like that. 32.01, just these planks and he's galloping for it. Surely got him. Oh, easy, over a second. He surely won that at the second fence when he really turned back to that fence 7 backwards. That was super.
Well, another great round from Beat Mandley and Idiot Duteau, a time of 30.89. Just 3 riders left to go. Meredith Michaels Beerbaum is in next.
I think this competition, Emma, is beginning to revolve around 2 absolutely outstanding horses. The one we've just seen, Beat Mandley, and this one. I think it would be very, very long odds against this competition being won by anything else other than these 2. I know that's sticking my neck out, but they are just head and shoulders above the rest at the moment, aren't they, on their performances. She's just a little bit further around the corner there than Beat. Now 30.89. Oh, takes a flyer there. She surely got him. Only got to jump it. Leaves it up. 29.38. Got him.
1.5 seconds. That
How
is
about
incredible.
That? Incredible, isn't it? But he's an incredible horse. He's one of the best I've ever seen. There's no 2 ways about that.
Leopold van Asten now has to follow that. What a job. VDL Group, Flèche Rouge, his horse. And is he going to be going all out to try to beat that amazing round and a time of 29.38?
Setting off quick, isn't he?
He means business.
Yeah, tripped a little bit round the corner there as well. All over now. Shutterfly reigns supreme at the moment. Will he stay there? There's not many rides in the field you choose above him, is there?
No, indeed. And the only rider left in this jump-off class that can challenge them is Steve Gerda and Trésor. Well, disappointing for Leopold van Asten there. 4 faults and a fast time, not quite fast enough to beat Meredith, though. And there's only one person left who can give that a go, and that is Steve Gerda of Switzerland. A time of 30.57. He was over a second slower than Meredith Michaels Beerbaum. And here is Steve Gerda for Switzerland and the 11-year-old Belgian stallion Trésor. Steve, of course, won Vigo and Geneva, the World Cup qualifiers there. On Jaliska Solier, his other horse, he chose not to bring her here, feeling she was too young and inexperienced to cope with the rigours of this 3-day competition.
Yeah, it's certainly, as I said earlier on, Emma, an old horses competition, isn't it, really? Experience counts for a lot, especially over 3 legs. Well, you've got to be consistent over 3 days, because you can't afford one major blip in any leg here, because you won't win it or even be in the shake-up. Oh! Cheeky. This is quick. Can he keep it up? 29.38, Shutterfly. Tight angle there. Oh, that's gone. Now he slows up. He needs to leave this up. He couldn't afford 2 down.
Well, a time of 29.76, that's half a second slower than the winner of this stage of the Rolex FEI World Cup Finals, Meredith Michaels-Beerbaum, and Shutterfly, in a time of 29.38. It's a bit of disappointment there for Steve Gerda, but of course still 2 more rounds of this final competition to go. Well, there's confirmation of the result on this second day of the Rolex FEI World Cup Jumping Finals, and what a competition it was. And that leaves the standings as we go into the final day of competition with Meredith Michaels-Beerbaum and Steve Gerda jointly in the lead. Well, going into this competition, Meredith was certainly one of the favourites, and now she's out in front.
I'm ecstatic with Shutterfly. He jumped amazing yesterday already. I had a bit of a conservative round yesterday, and I ended up only in 8th place. But today I found my way back up to the top, and Shutterfly's in great form, and I feel really good and confident. It does crank up the pressure, but this is where I want to be, and I fought to get here today after a conservative start. But the pressure is always there, especially coming back here as the winner in 2005. There's never no pressure, so it's what it's like at the top.
So he's still in contention, while Christian Ahlmann is currently in 10th place after a great season. Marcus Eining, the reigning title holder, can he do it again? Beat Manley currently poised in 3rd place, can he make it to the top? Meredith Michaels-Beerbaum, joint leader at the end of day 2. And out in front with her is Switzerland's Steve Gerda. So final 3, round 1, the final phase of the Rolex FEI World Cup Finals. We've got 13 fences, that's 16 jumping efforts, and a time allowed of 75 seconds. And the course designed again by Guillermo Jorge. Well, first in is America's Richard Spooner on Cristallo. 28 riders to go in this first round. The top 20 will go through to the second, and both courses will be just purely tested on jumping ability alone. There's nothing against the clock, no jump off as such. That speed test has already taken place, so now it's all about leaving those fences standing, and they're big. Well, the scoring system at these Rolex FEI World Cup Finals are somewhat tricky, but I'll do my best to explain it to you. Basically, over the first 2 days, they've accumulated points. The ones with the highest points, in this case Steve Gerda and Meredith Michaels-Beerbaum, those points are converted then to 0. And the person in second place gets 1 point, and so on and so forth. And that leaves it very, very close for this final day. So the top riders just within a point of each other. And then the faults that they get from these rounds will be added on. So Richard Spooner starts this round with 21 points, and he's got 12 faults to add. So if he leaves the rest standing, that'll give him a total of 33, which puts him way out of the reckoning, sadly, for Mr. Spooner. But it does stay at just the 3 down, so 12 faults for Richard Spooner. That gives him 33, a score of 33 at the end of the first part of final 3. And that will leave him way out of the reckoning.
That double of gates there is very short indeed.
Well, next in, John Pearce and Archie Bunker for Canada. 10-year-old Belgian horse by Darko, the very famous stallion ridden by Ludo Philipparts. It's his third time at the World Cup Finals, and he is our 6th rider to go out of 28.
You can see again how very close he was to that second part of those double of gates. They're very, very short indeed. Most unusual wall there, 3 big portholes in it. And again, because of the geography of the arena, very narrow at one end, very narrow all the way through actually. We're always on the turn, which is a big disadvantage to a great big ponderous horse like this one. I mean, he's a huge horse, and John Pearce doing a very good job to steer him round. And he's getting a lot of encouragement from the crowd, which I don't think is helping him really. It's got to be a distraction. Doesn't seem to faze this old boy, but it can do. A lot of horses, when they hear applause, they think they've finished and can tend to pull themselves up. But he's clear.
And that's our first clear round of this final round one of it, of course. A second round to go, not against the clock. All that's important here is leaving those fences up. So no faults to add to his score of 18.
Superhuman effort all the way around there from John, because this horse takes an awful lot of balancing, and it's very important that he keeps landing on the correct lead every time, which he did. Not easy on a big horse, a lot easier on a neater horse like this of Judy-Anne Melchior's.
Well, Judy-Anne and Grand Dame Z are the 9th to go in this round. And she's fiercely competitive. She might be the youngest one here, but she means to be right up at the top if she can manage it.
There'd be a lot of horses, you know, could come to that double of gates there if they weren't so flimsy, and if they had a good run at it, would pick up off one stride there, because it's so short. They're really struggling, these Grand Prix horses, to put the 2 strides in. It wouldn't be politic to do that, because they're just too flimsy. You can't ride straight at them, they're not bold enough. This man is really trying today. Very supportive crowd. They're giving her every encouragement all the way around, and she's Belgian, not even American or Canadian as John Pearce was, and that has jumped its little heart out, hasn't she, Emma?
It was a fantastic round and our second clear in this final 3. And she is chuffed to bits with that. So nothing to add to her score of 16. And what a game little mare.
Proper little job, isn't she?
Well, talking of game little mares, Isablas Pialotta and Edwina Alexander, one of course of the final 3 in Aachen last summer. This little mare knows exactly what's required of her. And a course like this might well suit a shorter striding horse like her.
It will. It will. Sensible comment. Because there's a lot of efforts in there, you can see by the geography of the course. You see how narrow it is there at the far end. Down the sharp end there. A bit of a job to get a fence across the arena down there, although they have managed it a couple of times.
It is a tiny arena, and what you can't make out from the TV pictures is that as you jump across these fences, you're looking at a wall every time.
Well, that's strange. Not strange. I mean, that's about consistent, actually, because she did that, strangely enough, to a gate in the opening leg, and the little mare jumped it for her, but she was so intent on coming there off a short stride, took an extra pull, and it was one too many because the mare just pulled up. And not only will she get 4 faults there for a refusal, she's also likely, this little mare's lost her confidence now. That's 2 blips she's had in 2 days, and that's very, very unfortunate, because you know, when they lose their confidence like that, this is difficult enough on a horse that's bursting with confidence. She lands very steep there and doesn't get to that oxer there on the one stride. Pity.
Rennie Tebel now, and Team Harmony Coupe de Coeur, a member of the German team, of course. And he won a World Cup qualifier very early on in the season, the opening one in Oslo. And this is an absolute stunner of a horse. Just 10 years old, this stallion. Very young to be facing a competition and an atmosphere like this one.
Modern day show jumps, the fences themselves, the obstacles get lighter and lighter. Those 2 gates there at fence 3, the double of gates, the top of them knocks straight out, and it's only a little piece of wood about 2 inches square on very flat cups. You just can't get any lighter than that. And these fences so related, all on measured distances, like up here. 3 strides there and 3 strides there, 3 short ones, 3 short ones. Absolute utmost control. Round the corner here, look, a change of leg, 5 strides round the corner, cracking round, and as you said, Emma, I mean, that is a superstar. Only 10 years of age, which doesn't sound that old, but it is by this standard. But a real tradesman is Rennie Tebel. He's been at the top for a very long time. He knows the requirement, and he's got a horse there that can fulfill it. Look how that horse so sharp in front. His front feet come up absolutely plumb together.
Well, Daniel Dessler now, and Air Jordan Z. A much younger combination. He's just 25 years old. Short on experience but long on talent. Used to be trained by Franka Slutak in his formative years, now trained by Jan Tops.
His mount is an 11-year-old Oldenburg stallion, Air Jordan Z, and she is owned by Stataria's Antizide.
He has quite a look of Franka Slutak about him, I think.
He does, doesn't he? Sits in exactly the same position as Franka. And he's tall, long upper body. I think he'd be even taller than Frankie, actually, by a bit. As you probably heard in commentary, the horse is by Argentinas. 11-year-old stallion. And as you said earlier on, Emma, Argentinas, the sire of John Hales's great stallion Arco, ridden by Nick Skelton.
And again, a big round of applause from the crowd. Just for a moment, they seem to take a little bit of the attention of the horse, and it's not helping all of these riders here today. got a lot to contend with in this arena. They play a lot of music as they ride in and out. You've got the announcer who's very loud. You've got and another clear round. Well, now they can cheer and clap. And he will be creeping up and up that order. He was 15th at the end of the speed class. He's now got a total of 11 points. And those points are added to every time there's a fault now in these last 2 rounds, but no faults for Daniel Desser. Christian Ahlmann now in the arena with Kirsta. They were the European champions in 2003, so he's got plenty of experience at this level, had an amazing season and was way out in front of the others on the highly competitive Western European League series, but he's got it all to do. It doesn't matter how they went in the qualifiers. All that matters now is their performance here in Las Vegas.
He's carrying 6 points forward, so it really begins to take shape now towards the sharp end. The better horses in the standings at the moment going further down the order until we get to the final 2, who are both on the 0 scores, as Emma said earlier on. Shutterfly and Steve Gerdat's horse Tresor. He carries 6 faults forward, which equates to a fence and a half. When we get a couple of more horses going, we'll get down to the horses that are all covered by less than 1 fence,
yes,
of which there are 9.
It's a tricky scoring system to make sense of, but it does make for a very exciting final day of competition.
Certainly does, you know. It really puts the pressure on the final ones when, you know, they've got to keep the clean sheet, because if the last, say the 4th last and 5th last horses come in there who are on 2 and 1 points, that's well less than a fence, and if they jump clear, then the last ones have simply got to go clear to stay in front.
Yes, these fences very, very expensive now, and that gives him a total of 10 points. Still out in the lead at the moment, but of course every other horse still to go, has fewer points than him.
For a strange looking fence, there's not many horses had that down. Now, Marcus Henning.
He's our reigning title holder here with Gitania. He won it in Kuala Lumpur last year with Sandro Boy, the very beautiful stallion, but he's been out doing his other day job of stud work, so Gitania is stepping into his shoes.
Gitania's 15 now, but still capable of winning a competition like this on her day. But he's more than a fence away at the moment. He's carrying 5 forward. He's the last one that's more than a fence away from the lead, that is. But a lot of jumping to go yet. There's this round and another one over an even bigger and shorter course for the highest placed horses after this first round.
And this line here is quite a peculiar one, because those fences are actually slightly offset. They're not in a direct line to each other at all. They have to angle across to meet those fences, which you can't really see from the TV pictures.
It's a fair comment, Emma, but they've coped with it very well, actually, haven't they?
They have indeed, and that's another clear.
3 short strides between each, and opening the angle a little bit and going across the diagonal gives them just that little bit more space.
Well, Marcus Henning stays on his score of 5, so that keeps him well in contention as we go into the final few riders now. Well, Marcus Beerbaum and Marco Kutscher both had a fence down each, so we come back into the action with Beert Mendley and Idio Duteau, the 26th to go out of 28. And here he is, Switzerland's finest, Beert Mendley and Idio Duteau, the Saint Francais 11-year-old. And it's a horse that he expects great things from.
It is, as you say, Emma, you know, it's a fascinating, it's complicated but fascinating scoreline system, because really this round is one of the most defining rounds of the whole competition, because Beat has got Shutterfly to follow him and Steve Gerdat with Treasure, both jumping like machines. I mean, if he's going to have any chance of picking up his first World Cup, he's just got to go clear now, because he's a point behind him anyway. And then he's got to hope that they make mistakes. And there's one more round to come, of course. The pressure really is on all the way round. Beat literally riding for his life. This horse getting a little bit sharp, just getting a little bit wound up, running off the corners a little bit. He's got to keep him off it, like there, keep him off these fences. He's getting a bit ragged, and as you said, that line across there, very offset. He found that difficult.
And that crowd participation, it's great to have the enthusiasm, but it's got to take their attention. And he's taken the last.
You know, I wouldn't go so far as to say he was always going to have one, but the danger was there, wasn't it? He was getting more and more ragged as he went on. He started to run a little bit from about halfway round.
Well, he did a fantastic job to get him through those 3 fences, but...
He did. Shakes his head. You know, he knows he had to carry him down this line. You can see there that they're just slightly offset. Across there, more the third one than the first 2. Now, has that opened the door for Shutterfly? I would say it's more than ajar.
It's taken a little of the pressure off the top two, jointly out in front with scores of 0. So they can't be caught unless they make mistakes.
She has that leeway at the moment of a fence down plus a point. And the way this horse is jumping, you can't see him possibly having more than 1 down.
Well, Steve Gerdat, of course, is still
and he's still there with her.
First with her.
So, you know, I mean, it's still, as they say, all to play for. He virtually refuses to have 1 down, doesn't he? He's so accurate. Oh, he's gone the wrong way. Would you believe that? What a time to do a stunt like that. It happens. I've seen it happen many, many times, but, well, in a World Cup final, when you're about poised to win it, he's got to turn right here. She's anticipating the corner, as she should do, and Shutterfly simply turns left. No one to blame, it just happens.
Well, he just wasn't listening to her for a moment, and he went left, and that has really given Steve Gerdat a hell of a chance here in Las Vegas. He's on 0 points. No one can catch him. He only has himself to beat in a way, because if he can leave all the fences up here and in the next round, he's won this title. But we may be in the city of gambling, but I don't think anyone would have bet on Meredith Michaels-Beerbaum coming off in these finals.
Well, as you said, quite rightly, Emma, you know, if he leaves all the fences up in this round and the next, nobody's going to catch him by more than a fence. But as we've seen so far, it's a tall order.
There have only been 5 clears, and Steve Gerdat is the last in, so those clears have been few and far between. Just 24 years old and bags of pressure on him in here.
This is a very, very good horse, isn't it? Oh, just run at that a bit off the corner.
Well, we're almost back to where we started. He's just 1 point in front of Beert Mandley now, and of course we've lost Meredith Michaels-Beerbaum because that fall has meant she is eliminated. Well, amazing scenes here in Las Vegas. Drama by the bucket load, and it's only going to increase as we go into the final round. But in round one, there were plenty of costly mistakes. Firstly, Molly Ash-Corley and Kroon Gravin had 2 down. Margie Engel also had 8 faults. Also for the USA, Skylar Riley on the 17-year-old Ilian had 3 fences down. Alois Pullman Schweckhorst, the indoor king, had an off day. He had 2 down in round one. McLean Ward again for the USA. He had 2 fences down, the leader after the speed class, but that has pushed him down the order. And Leopold van Asten was in 4th, but 2 fences down for him have been extremely costly. So the standings as we go into the final round 2 of final 3, and Steve Gerda is out in front on 4, with Marcus Aining just behind on 5, and Beert Mandley also on 5. But anything can happen, as we've seen in the first round, so let's get straight on with the action. There are 9 fences, 12 jumping efforts, and a time allowed of 59 seconds, and it's all to play for here in Las Vegas. First in 20th place, Herco Schroeder on Eurocommerce Milano. We've had 2 riders withdrawn, so just 18 to go in this final round. The withdrawals there both for the USA, Molly Ash-Corley and Skylar Riley, but leading us off is Herco Schroeder, our pathfinder in this final.
Just 20 to go, and with those 2 withdrawals, 18 in contention, and well worth going to try to get in the money down the line. There's normally about 16 places of prize money in a World Cup final.
And he already seems to be riding in an entirely different style, back to the Herco Schroeder that we saw in Aachen. I wonder if maybe the nerves and the size of the occasion really got to him earlier on. Now, of course, he has no chance of being up there with the winners on 24 points, so he's all out for what he can get, and he seems to have relaxed into the job.
I think the interesting thing about that, Emma, as well, is, I mean, he is the least strategically placed one, if you like. You know, on form at the moment, he's the least that we've got to see of these 20, and he's gone clear, which would lead you to believe that the ones at the sharp end are going to find it relatively easy, and the scores will probably change little as we get down to the bottom end.
Indeed, but then the pressure's a lot higher on the ones at the sharp end.
Sure. You'll see what difference that makes.
Absolutely. So Marlin Barriard-Johnson is our 5th rider in with Butterfly Flip. Let's see what she can do. And this little mare really does look back to her best here. It's good to see.
It is good to see, because she's been, you know, looking a little bit frayed around the edges in a lot of the World Cup finals, that qualifiers that we've seen, isn't she?
Yeah, we haven't seen her looking like this in a long time. Wow, and another clear round, so the second one. So that's 2 out of 5. Marlin Barrier-Johnson really making the most of her trip to Las Vegas.
And in a situation like this, 2 out of 5 gone, you'd have to ask yourself the question, has the course designer done enough? Guy Yoga from Brazil, very, very good course designer. He's built at Olympia, London, and a lot of other top venues. Knows what he's doing. Has he done enough to split these world-class riders and horses up to change the order about at the 11th hour? We shall see, and it's going to be a pleasure watching it.
Well, that's disappointing right at the start for Gideon Melchior. Clear in the last round, but takes the first out here.
A little bit more space in here now in this final round, because there's only 9 obstacles instead of 13. It just means he can build the course a little less related, a little less with the fences close together. Give them more room for adjustment. That was unlucky. Just unfolded a little bit quickly at the first fence and just had the back rail off. It's a mistake she wouldn't make more than once in 100 times. Bad time to pick to do it, but you know, she was carrying forward 16 anyway, so it only means a bit of prize money. It's not going to be the difference between winning and losing, but it certainly will in about 10 horses time.
Margie Engel and Hidden Creek's Cuervo Gold, they carry forward 16 points. She'll be looking not to add to that. Well, that wasn't just catching the back rail, that was complete annihilation of the first fence.
Yeah.
You really wouldn't expect it. This finals just continues to surprise again and again. I'm looking a little rattled now after that.
Yeah, I mean, I think the comment you made about the pressure adding to the severity of the course is very relevant.
But when you compare this performance to some of her earlier rounds, it looks like a different horse and rider combination altogether.
Exactly, a different combination completely.
And it's a shame to see 12 faults, 3 fences down for Margie Engel with Hidden Creek's Cuervo Gold. That will take them way down the running order. Just having a little look at him there, checking he's all right after taking a few knocks on that round.
These horses don't come to a lot of harm these days, though, with these very light poles. But there was no real reason for that, none that I could see anyway. Now, Alois, Elvis as they call him.
Known as the indoor king at home in Germany. This is a competition that he absolutely loves.
He does indeed, but I think he's struggling here this afternoon with a bit, he hasn't got quite as much margin for error as 1 or 2 others have, where jump is concerned. You see, he just picked the stick up on Candy at that big oxer there, just to show it to her, just to say, go on, get across that back rail. These are very big indeed. And if he wants to get a bit of money, as you can see, he's carrying 3.5 fences. He's got to be clear here. He wouldn't want to add to it. Go on, he says. Good man. Rode like a hero, didn't he?
Absolute determination.
You get a bit of money down the line with that and he'll deserve it. He's a great character and a great grafter.
And he worked for that clear round.
Certainly pull him up the placings, that will, because there's going to be a lot of horses here in his vicinity that are having fences down. Like the previous one, Margie Engel.
Well, Daniel Dersenau and Air Jordan Z, they're on a score of 11, less than 2 fences behind the leader. Fences falling all over the place on this course. No real bogey fence, it would appear.
No, that's good course building, isn't it, really? The faults are being pretty evenly spread. You never know where the next fence is going to fall. This horse has got a huge jump. Time again, not really a factor.
And this horse looking a lot fresher than, say, Candy Alois, Paul Schweck horse. Obviously, 3 days of jumping is going to take it out of some of them.
Yep, exactly. Good comment. You know, some more than others. I mean, this horse looks as fresh as the day he started, doesn't he? Alois's horse was obviously struggling, but still jumped a clear, as he has. 59 seconds.
Judged clear.
Yeah, 59 seconds the time allowed. He wasn't much inside. You know, I don't think it's been measured tight, but there's not a bundle of margin for complacency going around here. You couldn't do with the time fault as well as a fence down, because that takes you the other side of the 4 for a fence down. Crucial at this level.
Absolutely. Well, Reddy Tebble had 2 down. McLean Ward has had a fence, and now we've got Christian Arman and Kirster. And he's looking very sweaty there. A lot darker than he was in the last round. Be interesting to see how freshly he jumps.
Classic treble combination for any major championship. A vertical short stride to a wide oxer to he was never going to make that back rail, and then in the combination 2 long strides to another very big oxer. A real test of scope, ability. I think you'd have to blame the pilot a little bit for that mistake, because he was very close to that oxer, went high in the air, but just had no chance of getting across it. Puts him way out of contention.
Well, that gives him 14 points, so that does move him down the order, and of course means that there's less pressure on those ahead of him. So Daniel Derser remains in the lead now. He's on 11 points, and Christian Arman has slipped down with 14. Leopold van Asten and Vidial Group Flesh Rouge on 10 points, same as Christian Arman. Can he do any better over this very testing final course?
Good mare, this. That's a real trier. 14 years old. French bred. Oh, pitched on her nose there. And that's got him a bit ragged round the corner. That really has upset the apple cart. So unbalancing, so unnerving when you have a trip like that. Lose your rhythm, lose your balance, concentration, the lot goes. And all that on the way to a huge triple bar off a corner.
And takes the last as well. What a shame. Leopold van Asten finishes on a score of 8 faults there on that round, which takes him to 18 overall in this competition, which will slip him way down the order. Very costly stumble there. So we're into our top 5 now in this round 2 of final 3, the final here in Vegas, and just another look at that triple bar there. Well, now we're into our top 5, and it's getting very, very exciting now because they're all within a fence of each other. Marcus Beerbaum and Lena are on 8. Our leader is on 4. So very tight at the top now. Well, Marcus has ridden this mare since she was 6 years old. She's now 15, and you can see the kind of partnership that they have. Trying her heart out for him.
Concentration on his face.
What a shame. Well, that's 4 faults for Marcus Beerbaum and Lena, which takes them to 12 points. And that means Daniel Derser is still out in front on 11. Marcus Aining and Jatania are on 5, just 1 point behind the leader, Steve Gerda. If he can go clear, that will put a whole world of pressure on our leader.
Yep, very fine margins now. This is where it's, this is not about prize money now, this is about winning it.
And Marco Kutscher, who was in 4th, has had 8 faults, 2 fences down, so that pushes him down the order. And these fences seem to be falling thick and fast now.
They do. Oh! This mare just does that now and again. It just runs at one, hits one in front. She's let him down several times just lately. A pity because she's got so much ability. And that was a costly one. You see, she's done it again, ran straight at it. Didn't help him one bit. So, he's way down the order.
Our reigning title holder won't be keeping hold of that title, that's for sure. He's now got 13 points. And Daniel Derser still maintains that lead. So we're into the final 2 now. Beert Mandley also on 5 points. And here he is. If he can go clear, that will heap all of the tension onto Steve Gerda.
I wonder how much his previous record, Emma, will affect him. He's been so close to winning this so many times. Will that give him confidence or will it intimidate him?
You must start to feel like you're never going to win it.
Yeah, but he's never been sitting on one quite as talented as this. He freely admits this is the best he's had. Now he just has to go clear. and hope. Steve Gerdat doesn't. It's as simple as that.
And of course, Beert, not just a countryman of Steve Gerdat's, both from Switzerland, but he also trains Steve. So it must be a strange position to be in, but he is riding like the wind.
It is. Friendship will count for nothing this afternoon, I don't think. But, having said that, if Beert doesn't win it, there's no one other than Steve that he would rather see win it.
Well, just these last two to go.
Go on, get up there, Beert. Yes!
He's done it.
And the horse, look at him, fresh as a daisy. That is a super horse, isn't it? And what a performance from the man.
Lovely to see the horse
yes,
looking
he
so
says
happy.
that's the fella. He says all down to him. This is a superstar. That is an out-and-out show jumper. As good as most, better than the vast majority of top horses. He really does perform. Now he's got to sit it out and just hope Steve Gerdat has won.
Just 1 point between them. Steve Gerdat cannot afford any mistakes at all.
Talk about pressure, Emma. This is pressure to the nth degree. A World Cup final, depending on jumping every fence clear.
He's a very, very cool customer, is Steve Gerdat, but even he must be feeling the butterflies now. And that won't have helped them.
Oh, well, there you go. Beert's won it. And another for good measure.
Well, I wouldn't want to see him take any more down on his way.
No, he wouldn't deserve any more, would he? He doesn't deserve two down the way he's gone. But that's what it's all about. And as you said earlier on, Beert Manley, 5 times the bridesmaid, second and third.
And there
now
he is
the
at
winner.
the top of the leaderboard. Finally, Beert Manley and Idio Duto win the Rolex FEI World Cup Jumping Finals. And what a competition it's been. There were 6 German riders in the top 10 at the start of the last round, but they couldn't beat the Swiss precision of Beert Manley. Just 2 fences down in 5 rounds of high-pressure jumping, and a final performance that was pure class. He's come 3rd twice and 2nd twice, but now Beert Manley is the Rolex FEI World Cup Jumping Champion 2007.
I can't really believe it, but okay, I was waiting for a long time for it, and I have an unbelievable horse now. And okay, the first round was a little bit not very good of my riding, but he just tried very hard. And I mean, this last round, he was just unbelievable. He never was close to a fence. I never had any problems in the whole course. Yeah, I always believed in the horse and in me, and okay, I tried to do the best and just hope for the other ones that they have run down. Okay, I really was hoping for Steve as well, but I waited for a long time and I'm super happy.
It's been horse sport and high drama amid the high rollers here in Vegas. Beert Manley claims the biggest championship of his career and the heaviest silverware. An outstanding competition and a worthy winner. We'll all be back next season for the Rolex FEI World Cup Jumping Series, which begins again in just 6 months' time. From me, Emma James, and Steve Hadley, goodbye and thanks for watching.